So you know what? Let's dive into it here. So the news and notes, Jaxson Dart's going to start. 4 of his next 6 opponents are undefeated. He has the Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, Niners. That's up next for Jaxson Dart. Also, Tyrone Tracy was injured. His timeline is he's expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks. Mike Evans is going to miss 3 to 4 weeks. But let's start with the Dart news. And are you, Jamie? I read your article on the website, and you're hopeful, you're optimistic for Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson.
I would hope that he understands the assignment, which is to get those guys the ball as much as he possibly can, because you look at the receiving core, clearly those are the top 2 target getters, and that should continue. I think in the case of Malik Neighbors, look, he had 2 very good games with Russell Wilson, one amazing game against the Cowboys, and a terrible game. It's just the hope is this is, and obviously Heath could speak on this more than I can. The hope is like these guys are good together because they're going to be tied together for at least the next 3 seasons. So
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Well, I mean,
look, that's the hope, right? But if he's bad, they're drafting a quarterback.
I guess they're not drafting a quarterback in 2026. So,
I think they might.
In 2026, yeah, absolutely. If he's
another first round picking a quarterback, what are they, Cardinals?
That's what you do. I mean, that's what the Cardinals did. That's if you stink, then you do it.
I guess if you have the number 1 overall pick after drafting a guy in the first round, then
they will.
It's not like this class has been great so far in the first month of college football. So, I hope he's good. I hope he can connect with Malik Neighbors. He's going to get peppered with targets. We said this before the season started that when they made the quarterback switch, would it be any worse than what Neighbors dealt with last year? I don't think that's the case with Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones at the start of the season. So I think Dart will be good enough. I think Wan'Dale Robinson, he's been through multiple quarterbacks in Brian Daboll's system. He gets targeted all the time, so that should continue. Cam Scatterby was coming off an amazing game against the Chiefs. Hopefully his targets stay up. That was great to see. 8 targets, 6 catches. And the nice thing about Dart is he's going to run, so he'll use his legs, and hopefully that'll help his fantasy production. So if the offense just moves a little better and they get more scoring chances, that'll benefit everybody.
What I'm really curious about is, I don't know if we have any reason to have any guess on this, is what does the offensive game plan look like in terms of like that Dallas game and the Chiefs game? It seems like they just decided, you know what, Russ, the only thing he's doing well is throwing the moon ball. So we're just going to send everybody 40 yards downfield, and he'll either throw it to them or he'll dump it off to Theo or Cam Scatterby. And I want, like, are we going to get a few short area targets for Dart, or is he still trying to run that? I wouldn't think he'd be running that type of offense. I downgraded Wan'Dale and Neighbors for this week, but versed on where I had them, but it's kind of a mystery box.
Yeah, we don't know what his tendencies are going to be for sure.
If he looks good this week based on the matchup against the Saints in week 5, you'll be excited.
Yeah, right. But then it's the Eagles after that twice, basically. So the good news is the Giants might have 2 good tackles. Their right tackle, Jermaine Illuminor, is playing great. I'm thinking going to see play about half the game, Andrew Thomas last week. So he actually, it's not like the Daniel Jones situation where he's got these horrible offensive linemen. I don't think that can be an excuse anymore for the Giants. So we'll see what happens. So Mike Evans, 3 to 4 weeks is the timeline right now for him. So you know what to do. You're going to start Ibuka, and we're going to see what Godwin's status is. Last year, this was Baker Mayfield without both Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. He averaged only 6.6 yards per attempt. I went with 4 games. I included the game where they both got hurt, compared to 8.2 yards per attempt in the other 13.
Well, Godwin played a good portion of that game, though.
Yeah, it's not an apples to apples comparison because you do have Ibuka this year. Terry McLaurin may not play this week at Atlanta. You've got he's got to seek another opinion on his quad injury, so we're gonna hopefully get a timeline on that. But Terry McLaurin could be out this week. Nate Taylor of ESPN says the Chiefs are optimistic that Xavier Worthy can play a limited role this week. Apparently, he'd have a harness on his shoulder. I don't love that. I'm not going to ask you now because we'll find out more later where you're going to be ranking Xavier Worthy. Tennessee head coach Brian Callahan is no longer calling plays. He's giving that to the quarterbacks coach, Bo Hardigree, who does have some play calling experience. Zach Charbonnet, we look at the Thursday night game. Zach Charbonnet once again listed as a full participant, and 3 Seattle defensive backs who have been missing time, they were listed as limited, hoping they can get back for this Thursday game at Arizona. Meanwhile, Arizona cornerback Will Johnson missed practice. The Texans released C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He's just going to sign with the Eagles and be amazing for them, right? I mean,
I think I saw that he can't.
Oh, really?
I think the rule is if you trade somebody, they have to play at least 4 games with the team you traded them to, or you can't re-sign them. Just to prevent like some shenanigans.
I like that. Yeah, maybe we should have a fantasy rule like that. I like that. What else we got? Tampa Bay is signing defense. Oh, so Tampa Bay is signing this defensive tackle Desmond Watson from the Gators. He didn't just come from the Gators, but he's the biggest player in football, I believe.
Yep.
And I wonder if they're going to try to throw him in there against the tush push. Would be interesting. They're playing the Eagles this week. Pittsburgh getting a little healthier. They've got Minnesota in Ireland this week. Joey Porter Jr. and Deshaun Elliott could play this week, 2 members of their secondary. But linebacker Alex Highsmith, pass rusher, he's already been ruled out. The Jets, they're struggling at cornerback. They just acquired a starting cornerback from the Titans, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. So he started pretty much all of last year, played just about every snap in the first 2 games this year, missed week 3, and now he's on the Jets. They're at Miami this week.